is Acid Night Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, different artist, and we break down one of their records. We get into the music, how it's made, lyrics, and everything in between. My name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. While you're listening, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars, tell all your friends, share all the posts. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that subscribe button. And we are transitioning out of 90s season. We finished up with Third Eye Blind. We thought it would be appropriate to do Bloodhound Gang this week. As the 90s album, 90s band, and also rap, hip hop, because next we are getting into hip hop season for the next 3 to 4 weeks. So deal with it, guys. Deal with it, losers. So yes, Bloodhound Gang. What album are we doing this week, Jeff? Go.
One Fierce Beer Coaster.
Yes. One Fierce Beer Coaster. So this is their second record. Came out in 1996. So let's get into our origin story with the Bloodhound Gangs. Bloodhound Gang, go.
6 for Dicks, King's Cup.
All right. That's a game I have not played in a very long time. King's Cup.
Because like nobody ever drinks a King's Cup. Like that's why people don't play it. It's because like no, I'm good. I'm not drinking that shit. Right? Because the King's Cup is supposed to be like a mix of all the other gross things throughout the night, and like I'm not drinking 10 ounces of backwash and fucking rum mixed with beer mixed with vodka. Like no, fuck off.
It's true.
So anyway, my origin story. Here we go. Yeah, right away, Ryan.
Origin story.
My origin story is what?
The reference, the Ryan reference. Yeah,
he did it. He does it. I'm telling you. But my origin story is pretty much you. Like you talked about Bloodhound Gang far more than anyone I ever thought would ever talk about Bloodhound Gang in high school. And I was like, yeah, they ain't the Bad Touch. That was a cool song. That was fun. And at the time, not Lyric Man, and I didn't own the CD, so I didn't know what he was actually saying. I didn't know how witty he actually was. So when Hefty Fine came out, you really pushed this one, and this really clicked with Ryan too. Ryan fucking loved this record, and I love this record. And within our friend group too, like post high school, this like Untis was like the sound of that summer, leading up into like the college years. Like this record really defined that later part of 2005 when this dropped. We were, do you remember like even like people that were not into music, like we kind of were, like they were obsessed with this record because we all were obsessed with this record.
We listened to it so much, yeah.
But I don't think we would have given this record a chance had you not pushed the record.
Maybe I don't think. Well, I don't think it would have. Yeah, because none of the singles off of this record, off of Hefty Fine, weren't. None of them had any sort of airplay on the radio or MTV.
But none of us cared about Bloodhound Gang. None of us like listened to Bloodhound Gang, and like the only song we actually knew was like the Bad Touch. That was it.
Yeah. Wow. For you guys, yeah.
That's a check mark on your very short list of accomplishments there musically.
Again, I got some good shit. What was the other one? There was a band recently that we talked about it was Limp Bizkit. No, not Limp Bizkit. Fuck, I don't know.
DMX.
It doesn't matter. So yeah,
I'll still never forget fucking like being made fun of at camp listening to Limp Bizkit because everyone else listened to fucking like Blink-182. Like people on the bus ride. Let's go Yvonne listening to Blink-182, and I was like, I'm listening to Limp Bizkit. I was like, oh, that's cool. And I could tell that she was making fun of me. It's been fuck you, bitch. Shit. Act like Yvonne.
Fucking Yvonne. What does she know? Where is she at now? Where's Yvonne? Let's get her on the phone.
I don't know. I'm
kidding. Anyway, my origin story with this one is the Bad Touch, like hands down. I mean, I think that's most people's introduction, either that or Firewater Burn. But for me, it was the Bad Touch. I remember specifically, I was sitting on the living room couch watching TRL, and they showed the video on TRL. It wasn't the world premiere, but that's just where they showed it. And it was one of those songs. I'd never heard anything like it in my life. I was instantly hooked. I thought it was hilarious. I thought the video was great. I thought the lyrics were funny. And I'm not a lyric man, but I loved it. The song, everything about it was fantastic. And I remember going over to Chris, our friend of the pod, Chris, going over to his house, and like over the next week or whatever, and we watched it again, and he loved it too. So we went to Target to go buy the CD with his grandma took us to Target, but Target at the time only had they only sold the censored version of the album. So we bought the censored version not knowing it, and we brought it home, and sure as shit, yeah, it was all bleeped out and all that shit. And then I eventually just downloaded it off of Napster and burned the CD for Chris and myself and everybody else. So that's my origin story is the Bad Touch, and I've just followed this band's career so intently since that point. I just think this band is so funny. They have some great music. But anyway, that's my origin story. So let's get into first impressions of this record. We're doing One Fierce Beer Coaster, and then get into any stinkers if we got them, and then get into the bangers and everything else. So what do you got? Go.
Lots and lots of stinkers. I think my first impression of this one.
Don't be stupid.
My first impression of this record is just like over the years, we kind of go back and forth, and then if you get in a mood, oh, hey, you should revisit this one, or if I get in a mood, I said, hey, you should revisit this one, and we kind of just like do that thing. I think Yellow Fever at some point in the course of the past 10 years, Yellow Fever was really the one that did it, and in re-listening to that one with like adult goggles on, and just, dude, it's a funny fucking song.
It is
like,
very funny, yeah.
Problematic in today's senses, but fucking god damn, it's funny. Just
it's funny, it's clever, yeah.
It's a perfectly crafted, disrespectful douchebag song through and through. So like that's my first impressions is these are well crafted douchebag songs. And Jimmy Pop is a guy that is not afraid to like take a hit. He's not afraid to either like literally or figuratively. He's not afraid to get punched for what he says because he thinks it's funny. And these are well-crafted douchebag songs. And Bloodhound Gang is a well-crafted douchebag band. And
that's true.
Even like watching some of like the Viva La Bam stuff today, and we've said this before, but like Bam's such a fucking baby, dude. He's such a whiny little brat, like all the fucking time. And the way he treats his friends is insane, that he even still has friends after like most of that run of Viva La Bam. But
I mean, a lot of that was clearly scripted,
right?
I mean,
but like
when you watch, because I watched a few episodes today, and I've always loved that show since it came out.
But yeah, Bam's a brat. Bam's always been a brat. The way Bam, the way Bam treated the pranks involving snakes with Johnny Knoxville versus the way Johnny Knoxville treated pranks of any capacity has always been different.
Yes,
Bam's a giver, not a taker.
100%. Yep.
So, I guess harkening back to this, I just like,
but it goes hand in hand because they're good friends. The guys in Bloodhound Gang are good friends with Bam and the CKY crew.
I guess anybody in like rural Pennsylvania is going to be good friends. I guess what the fuck else is there to do out there? I guess I don't know. But yeah, this record is just it's perfectly crafted douchebaggery is what it is.
Correct.
Yeah.
But fucking witty, man. It's witty.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, my first impressions are, yeah, the lyrics are some of the most insane, the most offensive lyrics I think on any of their records. But also he does. I mean, this is 1996. You can get what you were able to get away with a lot more in 1996 than you are nowadays with what you say, on your records or in the media at all.
It's pretty wild.
And it's not an excuse for saying offensive things at all. But the way he does it, he's also very self-deprecating. He makes fun of himself a lot. He's like almost like the South Park of music. Jimmy Pop is. He makes fun of himself and everybody around him. Nothing is off limits to him. Nothing at all. Like if it's going to get a laugh, even if it's the most offensive thing, which some stuff we talked about off the pod, which we're not going to talk about now, pretty fucked up. But
the stuff that we
fun.
talked about off the pod is the stuff that like, even to me today, we have a pretty broad sense of humor. We can digest a lot of things. That stuff was a little much.
And if you're curious about it, go watch the One Fierce Beer Run DVD, which we'll talk about also further into the episode. But just go watch that and you'll understand what we're referring to. So yeah, this is he's just a great lyricist, man. He's a great fucking lyricist. Great at rhyming. He's quick, clever, witty, everything. Jimmy Pop is he's so underrated. He's not like as a singer or anything like that. He's not great by any means. As a musician, this band is not great by any means, but he's an absolute genius when it comes to the lyrics, delivery, and everything else, and everything that goes along with that. He's just one of the best.
As they say, he's a cunning linguist.
Yes.
Like the
Yes.
not like the hip hop group, but like the cunning linguist that he is.
Yes, absolutely. So I have no stinkers on this record. I assume you don't.
No, nothing even close to being a stinker. I do have okay songs on this record, but nothing even close to okay songs. I have nothing even close to a stinker on this record.
Same here. No stinkers, all bangers. All bangers. Damn, I don't care.
That Pliny got me pretty good.
I can tell, man. I can tell. You're a little you're being a little quiet, being a little slow. I can hear it.
Being a little slut. That Pliny caught up to me, dude. It caught up to me right now. Fuck. As I drink more.
As you drink more, yeah. So yeah, I have no bangers. I mean, I have all bangers on this one. Jesus Christ.
You think every song is a banger on here?
Every song is a banger. Every song is a banger.
Okay.
Dude, this song, just also this album, the nostalgia hits so hard because like it was around like 2000, 2001 when I discovered this record, that they had records before Hooray for Boobies, and I remember buying the CD back in the day. And then friend of the pod, Sean, he bought the DVD, One Fierce Beer Run, and I mean him and I watched that DVD together, and we were just we were shocked. We were,
I mean, like
what we were like 14 years old when we watched it. We were
14-year-olds us would have thought everything was funny. 35-year-old us shocked. Is not everything is funny.
But
shocked, but still funny.
All the nudity. It's the nudity that, Jesus Christ, the nudity on that DVD. But anyway, so banger wise, what's your let's get into your biggest banger. What do you got?
I think the biggest banger, just because like the mystique around it and just like how aggressive it is and how difficult it is to access now, is Yellow Fever. Yellow Fever is just, it's the forbidden fruit. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It has to be the 1B. Has to be.
Yeah, it's also my 1B as well. But it's not just because
fruit.
It sounds so bad with the title of the song too, on the subject matter of the song.
You know exactly what it's gonna fucking be, a song called Yellow Fever. Bloodhound Gang, Yellow Fever.
It's some of his like dumbest, wittiest, cleverest lyrics too. And the song itself, it's really, really catchy. But everything about the song is slightly offensive too. And with
everything musically, like the beats, the soundscapes, everything, how it opens up, all those nunchucks like in your pants, you're just happy to see me.
Yeah.
But the way they say it, right? The way it's presented is just like, wow. All right, dickhead, here we go. But this is the era. This is very era appropriate, like Holt's mustache in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. This is very era appropriate. And I think like we talked about, or that we mentioned, that this is a band that is deliberately disrespectful in all of the best ways. And if I'm going to make fun of somebody, I'm going to do that thing justice. And so here is me trying to soften the blow of Yellow Fever, is that he does bring up a lot of like, I don't know, like the direct things, but like John Woo, Bruce Lee, Sun Yi, all of these like Asian, I don't know, movie stars or famous people. Half of these I've never heard of. And I had to Google, like, oh shit, that's like a Japanese person. Oh shit, that's a Korean person. Oh shit, like I didn't know that. Yeah. It's like he does his research in a time before Wikipedia existed. Like the dude knows things, or at least does some type of research to make his insults better. And you got to respect that, right? You got to respect
I agree.
that.
I think he does his research on the lyrics. Like, or not on the references. His references. He does his research. He does his research. And sometimes it can be offensive to some and to a lot of people, but it's clever, man. It's clever. It's
fucking clever.
Yeah.
Man, there's some fucked up things he says in this thing though. It's funny.
Even the hook, like the chorus. I mean, just that in itself, what he says, is considered offensive now. You know, I'm not going to say it because I'm not going to say it.
It's so fucking catchy though, because it's just like the word, the onomatopoeia of the word, right? Like just like how you say things and what it means, and it's an easy word to get into, and it's an easy chorus to get into. And this is Bloodhound Gang to a T. Is just the same pop lyric, the same pop structure, right? And like that's like half of the songs in FD Fine are the same fucking song, just presented in a slightly different way, or maybe a key lower, or maybe like something a little bit different, but like they've written the same 4 fucking songs over and over and over and over.
They really do. They really do. God, I'm just kind of going through the lyrics again right now, and I want to talk about so many of them, but like almost every single line has something like that is questionable nowadays. You know what I mean? So it's
I
like
don't, dude, I'm listening to this because this is just like, this is the one that if there's ever like an episode that's probably going to get us like banned or canceled on Spotify
it might be this one. Yeah,
the algorithm is going to like, nah, dude, we're done.
there's some wild lyrics on this entire record, not just
because
the song.
These lyrics, they just fucking make me laugh. I think they're so goddamn funny. So like verse 2, because I ride my slant-eyed slope like a brand new Kawasaki on my chinky because she's so kinky, got me hot like Nagasaki. Like, bro, first of all, wordplay.
The wordplay is
amazing
because the way he sings it too. It's not just the lyrics; it's how he sings it, and his flow is unmatched. Like you could, I mean, honestly, you could throw him up against a lot of fucking rappers, and his flow is better than a lot of rappers out there, past and present. Like
I agree.
He's great at it, and that's another thing too. I think because he's in this goofy band, he's a white guy. Like, he doesn't get enough credit for his rapping, but he actually is a solid fucking rapper. His wordplay is fantastic. Regardless of what you think of the lyrics, he is fucking great at it. He really,
but
really
the presentation of lyrics is what matters here. And so like in these,
absolutely,
in those two lines right there, right, there's a lot of K's. There's a lot of like the Kawasaki, Nagasaki, those K, that consonant there. It's not just on the ender of that like line, right? So if you're writing like poetry, you're not just rhyming the last two things, you're also getting that consonant in the beforehand. And so like the kinky part, there's a K there. There's two K's in that one. When he says chinky, there's also a C and a K there, both kind of K's. There's a lot of like consonants that are just being repetitious over throughout this entire song. And I think that's fun. That's fun, and that's something. But then also like surreptitiously doing it too. Like when he says like Captain Kirk, like the captain, we know that's spelled with a C, not a K, but that's still the same sound. But he also like says the word knife. Knife has a K in it, but there's no K sound there. I think it's subtle. I think it's good songwriting. Like Chinese, he says Chinese here too. That's a C, not a K. There's no There's no K sound there, but you know it exists, right? When you hear the word Chinese, like you know that it starts with a C. Mm-hmm. So there's all these things going on into play that I think is a well-crafted, again, deliberate attempt to be a douchebag.
Yeah. To be a douchebag, to be offensive.
Like, you gotta give props to that, man. Like if you're gonna be a dick, dude, full frontal. Like, get in there.
And this is
the biggest dick possible. Yeah. And this is it. This is the best example of being the biggest dick possible.
I mean, if people who don't know, the song is about just him having sex with his Asian girlfriend. That's what it is. So he's throwing around, different Chinese references, Japanese references. He's throwing everything out there. Like, I'll just read you a part of the second verse. So, okay, so he says, it's like 6 lines right here, or 7 lines right here. He says, it's so clever, but it's also so offensive. He says, she's like an oriental rug because I lay her where I please. Then I blindfold her with dental floss and get on my knees. I'm a diving kamikaze eating out Chinese. First I'll have the poo-poo platter, then some tuna sushi. Oof. She'll be screaming like Godzilla and kicking like Jackie Chan. I'm singing it like how he's singing it too.
Yeah.
I'll get her redder than China, wetter than the Sea of Japan. I mean, that line right there is so fucking good. Like the Chinese New Year, she's gonna see fireworks. Now, yeah, it's so fucking it's clever.
You didn't the best and most offensive part of that entire verse of the last offensive part.
It is. The last line is, now be a good chinky and go press Jimmy's shirts.
Right? Because like the whole, what do you call them? Dry cleaning. Yeah. God, do people use fucking dry cleaning anymore?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Who? Why? Who use dry cleaning? Just
I remember when I was when Kevin was still living with me, he would have to go take his uniforms to get dry cleaned. Because they have to be like pressed. They have to get pressed like really well. And Kevin, he'd rather pay for it than do it.
Yeah, I'd literally just throw them in the fucking dryer. And the whole now I'm way off topic here because Pliny the Elder, dude. I don't understand how dry cleaning even works, right? Like, what does that even mean? Dry, like you don't touch it with water? When you spray it with?
I think they steam. I think it's all steam. It's all steam.
But then it's not dry. Steam. That's still wet. That's wet.
Technically, yeah, it's still wet, but you're not actually like washing it with water. It's a vapor.
See, I thought they threw
rather than liquid.
like powdery acid on clothes and then vacuumed it off. That's what I thought, and that's what I think.
It's like when you iron something, you have the hot iron,
Who
but
the
you
fuck
have
even irons.
You've never ironed before?
I literally never ironed a goddamn thing in my life.
Really?
Not once.
Okay. Okay. I remember growing up when my
what does the iron even do? It doesn't clean, it just presses.
It presses and it makes the creases like perfect and everything like that. When I was growing up, my dad had like, he was a sales guy, so he had to like have perfect shirts and suits and everything. And every single night he would have the TV on, he'd have the ironing board out, and he'd be ironing all of his shirts for the next day. He'd have the can, he'd have the can of starch, the iron. He'd have a water bottle because the iron was so old that it didn't have like the automatic water
he squirt liquid into it.
He had to squirt the water, iron it, and then starch it, and then iron over that again. He was doing that every single night. My whole life.
Let me ask you this: was he wearing a wife beater and in his boxer shorts with like ankle socks?
My dad wasn't like that. No, he wore normal, just shorts and a t-shirt, not like your typical like.
That would be a dope fucking thing.
My dad wasn't like that.
Wife beater in your boxers, and the boxer had to be pulled up like close to your belly button, of course.
That's true.
And then like either black socks or white socks pulled as fuck, like tube socks, right? Yeah.
No, my dad wasn't like that.
That's America right
but
there.
But every weeknight, that was his thing.
No,
like, for like
he's a fucking iron, dude. What the fuck use iron for?
No, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. So anyway, yeah, this song, Yellow Fever, it's quite the song. I remember the first time I played it for Tammy as well. Like when we first started dating way back when, she was shocked by this song. She thinks it's hilarious. But she couldn't believe that somebody could write a song like this. But she laughs every time.
It really is one of those songs where it's like, dude, if you're gonna be like a racist douchebag, again, like you gotta go full in. Like you throw out like a verse here or there, or like a word or two, or whatever. Yeah. Then people kind of like question, like, yeah, you're kind of just a dick then. But if you're full in, like the soundscapes match that, right? The whole aesthetic of the song is it's very loungy. It's very kind of like the We Are Siamese song from what's that fucking movie? Lady and the Tramp.
Lady and the Tramp. Yeah.
Like that whole thing. Everything is all the aesthetic really matches what he's trying to like throw out there. This very heavy on the turntables, right? Yeah. So like there's a lot of things going on here, and
it's all sampling, it's all electronic. There's no like full band on this song. But the layering, the atmosphere of the layering of the music on this and the sounds is fantastic. It's really like if you take the lyrics out of it, it's actually a fucking great song. It's a cool really song. Really great. And then what to really kind of like the cherry on top to the offensiveness of this song is the end when it has like that lady singing, or maybe it's them with like through some filter or whatever, but it's that. I can't even try to impersonate it because it's so stupid. But you know what I'm talking about? That outro. I can't even try to do it. It's so weird, but it's so bad. It's the cherry on top of it all.
It's a good song. It's a fucking perfect song. It's a perfect song, and I think like if someone's like, "Hey, what should I listen to by the Bloodhound Gang?" and you think like, okay, like throw them the bad touch, right?
Yeah.
But like, no, dude, throw them this one. If you can stomach this one, if you can see the good in this song, then you can see the good in Bloodhound Gang.
Yeah, you can listen to any song. This is probably their most it's first or second most offensive song in their whole catalog.
It's up there. It's definitely up there in one of their most offensive songs. But fuck it, dude. It's a well-crafted, offensive douchebag song.
Yeah, it really is. And to the point where it's so offensive that it's not on any of the main streaming sites. So your Spotify, Apple Music, nothing like that. You can only find it on YouTube. On vinyl, it's only on CD. It wasn't on I don't think it was only on the early runs of the CDs. Yeah. On vinyl, it's only ever been pressed once. And I have it right here. Ugh. On the OG pressing from 1996.
Dude, even the cover, dude, of this record is so gross.
It is really gross.
Like, right? I never realized the thing is holding his wiener until this week.
Yeah, it's fucking gross, man.
That's his fucking, with his left hand is like holding his wiener, and look at his right hand is holding his nards.
Grabbing his balls right
there.
Dude,
it's so fucking disgusting.
If you're watching the video, you could see it right now. But yeah,
God, that is so fucking gross.
I know. And then if you notice on the cover too, It says "Genuine Losers." There's a chicken right there, and below it says "Genuine Losers." I like it, but yeah, it's meant to look like a coaster, like a beer coaster or drink coaster. Um, so it's fun, it's clever, but yeah, just to prove that this is an OG, it has Yellow Fever right here on the track list.
Wild.
There you go. So I do have an OG. I got it a few years ago. Now they go for quite a bit of money, but yeah,
Even like the
cool.
early represses of the CDs, because it's like the whole week I've been listening to Bloodhound Gang, and people have been coming in and out, and it's always funny to hear when people are like, oh, this Bloodhound Gang, and a lot of people this week were just ecstatic about Bloodhound Gang. One of our regulars, Benny, he has an early CD that he thought was an original. I was like, well, like if it's an original, it had the song Yellow Fever on it. He's like, I think it does. Let me check. And he came back days later. And he's like, yeah, it did not have Yellow Fever on it. I said, well, then it's not an original CD there, dude.
Also,
so then he went back again and came back and said, oh yeah, I YouTubed the song Yellow Fever. I'm like, holy fuck. And like you see the big smile. I was like, wow,
it's something. A ride. It's a fucking ride.
For someone who's never heard it before, like even like somebody who's familiar with the Bloodhound Gang and knows like how offensive they can be, they listen to Yellow Fever and they're still like, wow.
Yeah.
That was something.
It's like every other line is something potentially offensive. It's fucking nuts.
Good, dude. Good.
Me and you.
Again, if you're going to be offensive, go all in, right? Fuck it, dude.
Does, man.
Shoot your shot.
He really does. Also, with the original run on the vinyl, at least I don't know about the CD, but on the vinyl, there's a hidden track. And what it is it's so funny when I hear it on the vinyl, but at the very end there's some silence, and then it starts with some girl who left a message on his answering machine, on Jimmy Pop's answering machine, and she's completely wasted. She's so fucking wasted, and talking about how much he wants to have sex with her and just like how horny she is and this and that. And it's like 4 minutes of her just going on and on, and she's so obviously drunk, but it's so fucking funny. But that's how this whole record ends.
So I listened to the hidden track once on Spotify, because it's not on YouTube. It's not on Spotify. And I wrote down it's just a lot of audio samples.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's one part where it repeated over and over. And here's what I wrote. So I don't know if this makes sense to you, but here's what I wrote. I don't remember what it sounds like. I wrote "Doocy flop on the cump." Does that make any sense to you whatsoever why I wrote that?
Doocy flop. Isn't that in one of their songs, like
"Doocy flop on the cump"? And like on the hidden track, it kept repeating that over. Like this person said something, and that it was an answering machine type situation, and they said something, and they probably thought it was funny, and they just looped it. "Doocy flop on the cump." And it's probably not in the lyrics. That's just how I heard it.
Doesn't he use something like that in one of the songs? I don't know. It would take me forever to try to remember, but it doesn't matter.
But that was a hidden thing that I wrote down there. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I don't know.
All right. So do we have anything else on Yellow Fever?
No, that was it on the fucking one song of this entire record that we got through.
I know. Holy shit. So you ready to move on from Yellow Fever?
Yeah, we did that one.
Yeah, we absolutely killed that
Justice,
one.
I guess.
So what's your 2B? Because that was also my 1B.
Yeah, 2B. Lift your head up high and blow your brains out. That's my 2B.
That's my 2B as well. Let's get into this.
Damn, girl, what's going on here so far? Okay.
Second song on the record. What do you got?
So like I kind of just dove into some of the sampling that was done on this record and this song specifically, but so like there's 3 main samples here. The main thing is coming from the Silver Convention group, which I know a lot of these groups because I see their records I sell at my store for like $5-8. So it's kind of fun to see these things pop up again. And I only know the Silver Convention because it's a very like R&B, I think, based group, but we sell it for like $5-8. But it's cool because like the main hook here is from that. But there's also Casey and the Sunshine Band later on. There's a Casey and the Sunshine Band sample, and this entire drum beat is a David Sanborn sample.
Who's David Sanborn?
Just somebody that you don't even know about.
Okay.
I just
trying to be like secretive about it, but
no, I'm trying to like save you hours of just like who gives a fucking shit about some saxophonist that I do not give a fuck about. That's what I'm trying to do. Who made 1,000 records that are all $5 at best.
Okay, fair.
No offense to David Sanborn or David Sanborn's fans, but like, who gives a fucking shit?
I've never heard of him.
Yeah.
Okay, what else you got on this one?
No, that was
yeah.
Oh, hold on, dude.
Sorry.
But like, it's catchy. It's a catchy song, and this is kind of like the first introduction that we get to. I guess not really the first introduction, because the first song's kind of like in the same vein, but like they do a lot of like high-low stuff. They do a lot of like loud, kind of quiet contrast thing that we love in the 90s. And oh, hold on, that's a beer.
Beer, dude.
Did you hide that?
What do you mean? No, I just saw my desk next to me.
Well, you kind of hit it. You didn't. Oh, now you're gonna pour it in front of everybody to pretend like you weren't hiding the fact that
I wasn't
you cracked
hiding
another beer.
just
If you don't crack it into the mic, then you're hiding it.
But you heard it just fine, so I wasn't hiding it.
Yeah, because if you're not,
gotta
just crack it into the fucking mic then. Ew, that's gross.
Gotta get every bit. Anyway, continue.
No lime?
Oh, no lime is disgusting. Lime is gross.
That's nasty.
Lime is gross.
Whatever.
Continue the joke.
Whatever. No. That's all I got for now. Kind of lost my train of thought there.
So this is a very just kind of like more hip hop based thing, much like most of the songs on their first record. Use Your Fingers. It's just the electronic loop beat and everything like that. No guitar really, some bass, but it's more of like oops. What?
Because I'm just thinking of the one part on this entire song.
I know exactly
it's so goddamn funny, and it's just,
what it comes down to. This is another one of the songs where it comes down to the delivery, his flow, and the lyrics. Because there are some really fucking funny lyrics on here. I mean, the song is about, okay, I don't want to say they're funny. They're clever. The song is about just him saying, yeah, you should just go kill yourself, and these are the reasons why. You should go kill yourself. It's really fucked up. It's actually very, very fucked up. But the way he presents it, just once again, the flow. He's witty. He's fucking clever. The references are just so stupid. So this is one of the lyrics right here. One of the little parts. It says, "Are you hooked on a feeling? Are you hooked on gin and tonics? Are you hooked on fisting? Are you hooked on phonics? Do you ever have a sex with a box of Kleenex? Did you like the movie Malcolm X?" What?
It's like the movie Malcolm X.
But the two lines: "Are you hooked on feelings? Are you hooked on gin and tonics? Are you hooked on fisting? Are you hooked on phonics?" The way he delivers those lines is just perfect. It's perfect.
And those all mean something entirely differently, right? Like are you hooked on a feeling? And like, I hooked on gin and tonic, like an alcoholic. I hooked on fisting, like someone who's addicted to like maybe like weird things sexually in the 90s. Then I hooked on phonics was a huge fucking thing. Hooked on phonics was a massive like children's 90s program thing in the 90s that just like focused on kids that just had a little bit tougher time in school than others.
The song is, I'll just say the song is really about people who are mentally challenged. And he's just trying to be so offensive and saying how they should just not be there, be alive. It's so bad. It's so bad.
And it's wild because so all of these things are kind of like taboo topics. But then when he says like, "Do you own a record by Stryper?" Right, Stryper, like the hair metal Christian band. Like it's always funny to make fun of like Christians and other religious groups. But then when it comes to other demographics or subsects of people, it's off limits. But like, it's okay to do this, but not this. Whereas Jimmy Pop is like, fuck it. All y'all getting fucked up right now. Like literally everybody gets fucking made fun of.
So that same like section of lyrics that you mentioned about, or do you own a record by Stryper? Then the next two lines are pretty offensive. It's, do you have a mongoloid cousin wearing diapers? And then at that point, he's just making fun of certain things like, were you born and raised in New Jersey? Did you like the taste of Crystal Pepsi? Like he's just trying to hit every demographic, every people in his area, every person where he lives. He's trying to hit, just trying to make fun of and just say like, you're not worth anything and you should just die.
Including the most offensive thing, probably even more offensive than all of like Yellow Fever combined, is the way he says like, "You're still not able to hear me."
Yeah, he sounds
like that. That has to be the most offensive thing Bloodhound Gang has ever done.
Yeah, it's definitely that and that part, and also the beginning of why is everybody always picking on me are pretty bad because he's making fun of Down syndrome mentally.
And it's so fucking bad.
Say it right now. Oh no, well I mean, so the last line is, I'm sorry, it's not a mentally handicapped person. It's somebody who's deaf. So I'll just read the lyrics. So it's, are you deaf? Well, if you are, you can't hear me. But what's the use of living if your ears be broken? Even if I spoke clearly. And then he says, you're still not
able to hear me. But he says like a deaf person.
I almost said it right now.
I mean, like we could go all day and behind closed doors, people do things as whatever. But I like going back to the stanza itself. The way he says this is kind of fun because if you notice when he says, "Are you deaf? Well, if you are, you can't hear me." That's one. Mm-hmm. But what's the use of living if your ears be broken? Even if I spoke clearly, mm-hmm. right? But that sentence is broken into two parts.
It is.
But when he fucking says, but what's the use of living if your ears be broken? Dude, the line is broken, right? Literally and figuratively. He's saying that your ears are broken. On the third line. But also like the line itself is broken. He's rhyming in a broken like scheme here. That's fucking brilliant. That's amazing.
It's genius. It's fucking genius.
That's unreal.
As offensive as Jimmy Pop is, he's not just being offensive. He's doing it in such a clever way that it's going over everybody's fucking head. Unless you really break down his lyrics and how he writes the lyrics, it goes over everybody's head. Everybody just thinks he's just being offensive. He's this shock jock, this artist that's just trying to get people pissed off or just shit like that.
The Howard Stern of like lyricists for this type of music.
But he's so much more than like, he's so clever.
It's good.
I know. It really,
even this line too, getting into that last part, right? Like the, are you deaf? Well, you can't hear me. Like imagine like volleyball players, right? You throw it up and you throw it up and you throw it up. And that final part is when he spikes it down. And it's so aggressive and it's so fucked up and it's so fucking funny that you just like, wow, you got me, dude. Like I let my guard down a little bit and you took advantage and you got me. And damn, that is good.
And I mean, he like we said too, he hits kind of every demographic. He hits his demographic, the right word. It's people like the first part of the song, the first stanza, I guess you could say, is about like junkies or like people who smoke too much pot, like the burnouts, shit like that. The second verse or stanza is kind of like about mentally challenged people. And then like what we mentioned is like just kind of how stupid people in New Jersey are. It's about how he doesn't like people in New Jersey, and he even mentions New Jersey on another song on what is it?
How much they hate New Jersey.
How much they hate New Jersey, yeah. So he talks about that, and then this next one is about deaf people not being able to hear. So he's in everything here, and then the pre-chorus, which is one of my favorite. No. Yeah, part of the second part of the pre-chorus. He says, "Life's short and hard like a bodybuilding elf, so save the planet and kill yourself." Like, I've always thought that one line, "Life's short and hard like a bodybuilding elf," was so fucking funny. It's clever. It's equally clever and dumb at the same time.
It's so literal too, right?
Life's short and hard like a bodybuilding elf. I've always thought that's like one of my favorite lyrics that he's ever written.
That's the lyric that you thought you had on your senior quote in the yearbook, right?
I swear to God it was. I swear to God it was.
Don't swear to my God.
You double checked, and yeah.
I did. I snoped you. You got snoped, dude. Yeah, snoped, and it was something.
It was something really.
I think you actually put "Live, Laugh, Love" in your senior quote. I think that's what it was.
We all know I didn't do that.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
No, but anyway, so this song. Are we good with? I mean, do we have anything else in this one?
Unless we want to just harp on just how offensive he is to specific demographics, then yeah, we should probably move on.
Because I mean, he does it with other songs. So
yeah, again, exactly. It's like if we're not going to get into who he's making fun of here, we're just going to get into it on a different song anyway.
True. Yeah. True. So then, what's your
sounds a fucking banger?
What's your 3B?
3B, Fire, Water, Burn. Fire, Water, Burn.
That's my 12B. 12.
That's stupid. Don't try so hard. That's really stupid because let's see, because This is go from backwards forwards. Reflections of Remo.
That's my worst.
That's a worse. That's a low B. Going Nowhere Slow, low B. Boom, low B.
Okay.
Your Only Friends Are Make Believe, low B.
Okay.
Yeah. So like at least at least two of those songs is above Fire Water Burn, and that's
only
stupid.
one of them. And that's Reflections. Reflections is the only thing that's worse than Fire Water Burn. I've never cared too much for this song. It's fun.
That makes sense.
Funny.
It's catchy. It's fun. It's exciting, and it's popular. So therefore, Tyler does not like it. I get it.
It's just a little too slow, a little too on the nose.
That's the entire half of this fucking album. Starting from Shut Up On. Like this fucking thing just like that's why Hooray for Boobies like got to step up above this one, is because the latter half of this album does not match the first part.
Okay. All right. So let's get into Fire Water Burn. Let's do it. Let's get into it.
How do you like? What are you talking about over here? Like,
I still like the song. It's still a banger. I still really like the song.
Oh, baby boy, why you tease me? Yeah, Fire Water Burn. This contains that sample from Rockmaster Scott and the dynamic fucking 14 or whatever fuck it is. But we don't need a water Vogue burn. But also like throw your hands up in the air, wave like you just don't care. Same group, dude. The two iconic things in music lore, essentially. But this song's great, dude. You're fucking wild. When the music drops in, it's so jarring because of the acoustic guitar intro, and then we get that super dumb fuzzed out riffage. That dun 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 dun. Like there's nothing wrong with this song. It is a perfect song through and through.
It's a great song.
Through and
so
through.
I really like the lyric. If I'm not black like Barry White, no, I am white like Frank Black. It's so fucking stupid. It's so funny though. It makes me laugh every time.
It is stupid. It's like this guy, right? Like Jimmy Pop, who's like, let me find a black guy with a last name White and a white guy with the last name Black, throw them together, and then make something out of it. Which all three of those steps is they're not like impressionable. They're not impressive on their own, but like throw all three of those things together and then write a good song around that. It's just one little tiny cog in this entire wheel of a good song.
Yeah. It
right?
is.
Like the meticulous approach to every single thing. And the whole like I'm hung like planet Pluto. And like, oh, here we go. Fucking another guy talking about his dick. But it's just hard to see with the naked eye. But then saying the naked eye, right? Adding the naked part to the eye. Like, dude, everything is just so well crafted.
It's hard to see with the naked guy. Like that, dude, it's clever. It's subtle, but it's clever.
But if I crash, naked guy or naked eye?
Naked eye, but the way I read it, I've always heard it and read it, is that it could be used in both ways. It's hard to see with the naked eye or hard to see with the naked guy. And then the next line is, but if I crash into your anus, I would stick it where the sun don't shine. So it makes so it goes along. It's the kind of the double entendre thing.
That would be wild if he said naked guy.
No, he doesn't say naked guy, but he says naked eye. But you could if you say it a certain way, it could be heard as naked guy. And to me, I feel like that's great wordplay. Even though he doesn't say it, it's still great lyric and wordplay where you could use it as like a gay joke, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like back in the 90s, that was a very like the cold gay panic, all like jokes and all that kind of shit was very popular back then. But I just think it's clever. It's clever songwriting.
But 100%. This is also like delivery wise, this is how Jimmy Pop sings all of his songs. Like the roof. Like that's how he fucking sings. That monotone, that kind of like lower register, that seemingly boring, one-dimensional like delivery. That's how he sings his songs. But like, my name is Jimmy Pop and I'm a dumb white guy. Like, dude, that's Bloodhound Gang to a T.
It is. But what I love about this song too is that he takes like the pop elements of the source material, which are very hot, very, very happy, disco, bouncy sounding, but he makes them very mundane and boring. Like the roof is on fire, but he says in a very low monotone voice. And then at the very end of the song, it's the woo woo, come on party people, woo woo, everybody say ho. Like that's supposed to be like this big thing. Everybody's yelling, partying, but he makes it so boring. Like
so boring.
Everything about this song, like when you read it, it should be this huge dance pop hit, but he dumbs it down and makes it so boring, mundane, monotonous, which once again goes into his great songwriting. He's a good songwriter. He's a great, clever, witty lyricist as well. Like this is everything on this song is deliberate, and it's done in the best, most subtle way. I fucking love Jim. I really do. I think Jimmy Hop is one of the great lyricists, one of the great writers over the last like 30, 40 years. I honestly think he is. I don't care.
Since we started collecting too, this is like the first time we've heard someone mention Lawrence Welk. And that's fun, right? Like, how many fucking Lawrence Welk records have you come across that are worth less than nothing?
Then he mentions it, like he talks about going to hell, and he mentions Lawrence. Does he mention Lawrence Welk with like Kurt Cobain,
JFK, Marvin Gaye, Martha Ray, and Lawrence Welk?
It's like out of all these people who were
so
iconic
popular, fucking musicians. Well, also like to be fair, Lawrence Welk was an iconic musician, and he did something so much for like contemporary music that we'll never appreciate because it was 100 years ago. But it's just funny to hear someone mention Lawrence Welk because dude's records are less than worthless.
It's Chud.
God, it's Chud.
Chud Records. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good fucking song. It's a good song, and this made him some money. This made him some money, and it allowed them to be heard, and it allowed them to be on like modern rock radio, and it got them a paycheck, and it got them recognition. And it allowed the Bad Touch to be exponentially better and more popular. But this is where it started, dude. Fire, Water, Burn.
This is on like 120 minutes on MTV, which back in the 90s was like on 120 minutes. That was Matt Pinfield, and he would show kind of more obscure stuff that wasn't playing, like your Madonnas, your Nirvanas. The big
Matt Pinfield's a shit, man. He was God. He was cool.
Did you see that? It was a clip on the DVD where Jimmy Pop was making fun of Matt Pinfield. He wore like the bald cap and everything. Dude, his mannerisms were spot on, just making fun of him.
Matt Pinfield was a quirky dude.
He was a weird dude. But dude, his impression of Matt Pinfield was spot on that DVD. I was laughing so fucking hard. God, it's so funny.
That DVD's something still.
Yeah.
Do you have the actual DVD?
I don't have it. So let's get into this real quick. We'll spend a few minutes on this.
It's not going to be real quick, but okay.
We'll spend some time on the DVD.
So it's not going to be real quick. It was an hour and a half of just rape and fucking weirdness.
Just a lot of weird shit. Yeah. So this album came out in 96. The DVD it's called One Fierce Beer Run. Came out in 2003. It was 2003, I think. Friend of the pod, Sean, had bought the DVD because him and I were big Bloodhound Gang fans. So he bought the DVD and we watched it, and I just remember sitting in his room after watching it, and we were just blown away at how much nudity was on it. I mean, it's just the first 15 minutes of the DVD is just nudity, dicks, boobs, vaginas, like it's everything, like a lot of dick. Like there's a lot of dick in there,
which is pretty wild to think. Like when you think of like nudity in film, the way we process like full frontal female nudity versus male nudity is so different.
Yeah.
Right. Like Wild Things and that's the only thing I can think of. And Boogie Nights. Mm-hmm. Other than that, like full female frontal nudity is just kind of like, it's fine, whatever. But like male nudity is a whole different ballgame. That you're basically watching a porn. And that's what this movie was.
Yeah, this DVD was. Like it's not your normal like film. Yeah, it's not like your normal like documentary DVD, like movie or DVD. It's an hour and a half, but there's no like commentary. There's no like what's it called? What is it? What is that called? Like when you're watching a reality TV show where it's just the confessional. There's no like confessional of them talking, just like the single thing. It's just like we recorded like hours and hours of video footage. Let's just kind of splice it all together and put it like as this jumble of a mess into this DVD. That's what this is. And the first 15 minutes are all wieners and boobs. Some questionable things like, wow, even in 1996, this is like, you probably shouldn't have been doing that. Like in the photo booth, and then what happened after the photo booth, you're like, holy shit. And if you're going to watch this DVD, like first of all, it's very hard to find. It took me a while to find a digital copy of this. You can buy it for like $15 online, but I don't know if I really trust buying it online. You're probably gonna get ripped off. But yeah, there's certainly a lot of questionable stuff on this DVD. What they were doing.
We have a high tolerance for shenanigans. I think shenanigans in general we have a high tolerance for, and as long as it's in the guise of jest and the overall aesthetic of fun, we can tolerate a lot of bullshit.
We can.
But this video, dude, this video took me like this hour and a half video probably took me 10 hours to watch because and I skipped a lot of parts.
Did you really? Okay.
I skipped a lot of parts because I was like, dude, this is not okay. This is not okay. Mm-hmm. And so like all the passes that we give to Jimmy Pop and all the passes that we give to this group, most of it stems from like Jared, man. Jared is just
he was a bad,
horrible human being who should probably be in jail for fucking, dude, like damn near rape. Like he should probably be in jail.
But also it's like, I mean, I'm obviously not defending him in any capacity, but imagine like if they agreed to put this all on film and release it, imagine what other people are doing that were not not
filmed.
Yeah, that's filmed but never seen by the public.
Damn.
Like it's one thing.
It makes you. I don't know. Like for me, it was kind of like, oh, like all those people that are coming out and saying, you know, like in the Warped Tour era, that this band made this group did this to me, whereas like most people just brushed it off, like, oh, that was just a time. Watching this video was like, damn, dude, maybe it was worse than that person even said it was.
Yeah. Because
of how bad like these friends treated each other. Like I can't imagine how you treated somebody that you thought was disposable. True. And that's fucking
But what's crazy is like with all the antics and shit that we've seen from Bloodhound Gang, I've never heard anybody come forward and, you know, accuse any band member of anything, especially Jared. Like Jimmy always, like in the DVD, at least in the interviews I've watched, like after the fact, he always seems very kind of like at worst, like complicit in all of it, but never, he was never
the antagonist. He was always just like, I will also join until I feel uncomfortable doing so.
And then I'll just kind of stand back.
But Jared was the one that was like, I'm going to forcibly do something to you that you probably don't want. And then he never stands down. Like we watched it in the DVD. Like there were moments where like he'd get in a fight with like an argument with somebody and he would not stand down even if he was wrong. Like he would just keep going until when they were late. Like, dude, you had somebody in your fucking in the van and we let you do
minutes. That 10 minutes.
We told you to get the fuck out of there. Well, Jimmy did it. It's like, yeah, but Jimmy didn't make us late. You made us late. Oh, it's not my fault. Like, oh my God.
No accountability whatsoever.
And it's not like it's not like he's writing most of these songs too, or he's not like fucking Geddy Lee on the bass. Like, bro, you're replaceable. Like the only reason why you're even still here is because you can match the shenanigans that Jimmy Pop wants his band to be.
Well, yeah, it's like when you watch live videos of them, he's not really playing bass.
No, like, he's like Sid Vicious up there.
Yeah. Which, whatever. I give it a pass because their shows were insane. They were absolutely insane. And I've talked about it on the podcast.
Live, but yeah,
I saw him once and I've talked about it plenty of
wild stuff.
Yes. It was literally the craziest show I've ever fucking been to. And I've never
they single-handedly probably made Disney rethink whether or not they should even have a venue.
Well, they got banned from the House of Blues. They got banned from that House of Blues after that.
Yeah, actually,
because that show was so fucking insane. And I remember talking to somebody, ex-roommate of the podcast. He was at that same show I was at House of Blues in Anaheim, and he said that he confirmed everything I've said. Like, it's not just me remembering my own memory. Like, he said, yeah, this everything you're saying, I remember happening. And yeah, it was just, that was insane. But yeah, they were banned.
Why do you not say the ex-roommate of the pod? It could be Balin or it could be Alvin.
It was Balin.
It could have been Alvin. I don't know.
Ex-roommate of the pod. It was Balin. Yeah, he was at that show. We weren't there together, but he was before I was friends with him. Or I knew him.
Are you still friends with him?
No, I'm not friends with him anymore.
Wow. Damn, that was
Hey, he's the one who blocked.
So see, typical Tyler, always blaming somebody else.
After he moved out, he blocked everybody. It wasn't just me. He blocked everybody.
It's true. He did block it. That was pretty. That was a good move though. See, dedication, right? If you're gonna block one, block them all.
He blocked everybody.
Dedication. That's very Jimmy Pop of him.
I suppose. Anyway, yeah, the DVD isn't crazy. The shows were insane. But one thing I want to bring up from the DVD as well was the somebody barfed in Jimmy Pop's bunk on the bus.
Oh my God. It was
like
big
15
deal.
minutes of them trying to figure out who barfed on his bunk. And
remember, he kept sticking his finger in his mouth.
Jimmy Pop was like,
my barf's not blue. My barf's not blue.
It was because it was blue barf. And they're like, this person had this person had this electric blue Slurpee or something like that.
There was electric lemonade. So it was like a
lemonade,
fucking weird fucking Jack Daniels drink or some shit. And it was funny because like it went on for 15 minutes until the person that did it was finally like, oh yeah, that was me.
and he was hiding in his bunk sleeping the whole time as Jimmy Pop was like making himself throw up. Lupus was so drunk that he could barely even walk or talk. And then eventually he's just throwing. Remember, he just starts throwing up in the trash can because he's so wasted. Oh my God, that part was so fucking funny. But that was one part in the whole DVD that reminded me of our friend group. Like, if somebody barfed and we were trying to figure out who it was, we would go to this extent trying to figure out who it was.
Yeah.
Even if it got to the point where it was so annoying and just so insignificant and petty, we would still try to figure out who did it.
It would just take like the 4 or 5 of our like core group at the behest of the entire party itself. Like everything will be shut down until we figure out
who did it,
who barfed in our bunk.
Yeah.
Like everyone else would have to suffer while we investigate this, drunk, mind you.
Yeah.
So it would take us 3 times as long than normal. And in the end, it would just be something so stupid. But then once we figured out, we go back to right back to drinking. I mean, fuck
yes. It. And honestly, the whole DVD, that was the most mild part of the whole thing. The whole hour and a half, that 15 minutes of them trying to figure out who barfed in his bunk was the least offensive, fucked up part of the whole DVD. But it was so fucking funny. I was laughing so hard.
Like again, watch the DVD if you dare. But that DVD was it was tough. It was tough to get through. It was tough to swallow. It was tough watching.
Now I don't remember this back in the day when I had the actual DVD available to me, but apparently on the DVD there's a Evil Jared commentary where he literally commentates over the entire hour and a half, and I guess everybody says it's so much better when you watch it with his commentary.
And he's the worst.
He's the worst of them all. But
like,
apparently,
what can he possibly fucking say, right? That would make that better.
But
he's
really
the absolute worst.
Like that right there almost makes me want to buy the DVD just to hear that commentary. I almost want to do it, but I'm not going to. But I kind of want to.
I mean, buy it and then come out here next time and watch it.
Jesus Christ! All right, so
best we can get through at least.
We could. Yeah, I know. Seriously, it's gnarly. All right, so let's get into another song. Yeah.
Yeah. What did we just do?
We did
Straight up, I blow your brains out.
Fire, Water, Burn. That's what we did.
Oh yeah. Wow. We're way.
And we talked about the DVD, so I feel like we can get through a lot of these now that we got the DVD out of the way. We've gotten the gist of like the offensive part of everything out of the way. But all right. So then, what's your 3B, third banger? What do you got? Go.
What was your? Did we talk about your 2B?
Oh no, yeah. Actually, I'm sorry. Your 3B was Fire, Water, Burn, right? Yeah.
Yes. So what was your?
Yellow Fever and then Lift Your Head were my 1 and 2, which was the same as you.
And Fire, Water, Burn was my 3B. So your 3B is.
Why is everybody always picking on me?
Because you run like a girl and you sit down to pee.
Yeah.
That's
damn,
that's my favorite Bloodhound Gang lyric.
And then I think that's Cue Ball singing that part as well. Because you
sit like a girl and sit down to pee. It's very
elementary,
non-confrontational.
Yeah, very. It's like something like a third grader would say to somebody else. That's
my 5B.
Okay, still pretty high.
That's my 5B. Yeah, it's pretty fucking high. The fuck out of here. Of course it is.
So I mean, once again, I mean this song is about somebody who was born with maybe some disabilities, mentally, physically, because he just kind of throws everything out there. The Chewbacca part, coming out very hairy. Wait, I did not. Wait. The lyric is, the doctor said, sir, you're misled, sir, which infers you mistook me. I did not mean your lovely wife was shacking up with a Wookiee. What I mean is a Wolverine is less hairy than your son. He looks like Chewie, baba booey, and a Hong Kong Fooey all in one. To put it mild, your newborn son's completely nutty, foo-foo looking. I'd shove him back in the oven until he's done cooking.
God. I'd shove him back in the oven until he's done cooking.
The lyrics are insane. And the way he raps them so fast, once again, his flow, his delivery is incredible. As stupid and as immature and offensive as it is, man.
There's some wild stuff here for sure. Like the whole Coasters Charlie Brown sample that's going on here.
Wait, what was the sample again?
Why is everybody always picking on me? Charlie Brown, and then also Voodoo Glow Skulls did a cool cover kind of that song. But he also uses a Bill Cosby line, like the "You're ugly too." He literally, it's not a sample, it's not a cover. Like he takes the sample from a Bill Cosby stand-up thing and then inserts it here, which did not age well.
No.
But like overall, I like how this is a well-crafted kind of lounge track, right? The ding, 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 like the kind of like a T for two kind of thing. Like this is a cool lounge track.
Kind of in the same way that Yellow Fever is too.
Yeah, Yellow Fever's a lounge track.
The loungy kind of lackadaisical kind of thing going on. More electronic bass, sample heavy.
And we'll hear it later on too. And Your Only Friends Are Make Believe. That's also a very cool lounge track. It's cool that they can kind of like throw out these little loungy tracks, but also still be highly, highly offensive and fucking pissing people off in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, this is like that part. Why is everybody always picking on me? Like that's been in movies and that's been other things too. And it's
but the way
it's
he
funny.
says it, yeah.
And it's funny because it's a back and forth between like Jimmy and I guess DJ. What's his name? DJ Cue Ball.
Qbert? Yeah, DJ Cue Ball.
Not the same Cue Ball from the Sublime stuff, but different DJ Cue Ball, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, that's all I got. just reading over the lyrics, and
I know I'm kind of running through the lyrics too while you were talking, but yeah, I mean, the song is titled "Why Is Everybody Always Picking on Me," and I mean, he literally is just listing everything. Like why people are, or things that people are saying to him because he's deformed, he has some sort of deformity, or
he's a fucking weirdo. Like why is everybody picking on me because you took your mom to prom but still got lucky? Dude, what? And that's not the first time on this record that he will talk about like having sex with his mom, and it's so fucking weird.
And then so after that line it's, and yeah, I took my mom to the prom, and hey, she asked me first, but at least this time I didn't find my date in the back of a hearse. It's like, damn, dude, jumping from fucking your mom to necrophilia, it's wild.
So bizarre.
But once again, he finds every little slightly or largely offensive thing, and he throws it into a single song. That's literally every Bloodhound Gang song on this record. I mean, that's on most of their songs and records, but this one especially, like he just absolutely went for it on this one. He had nothing to lose. Yeah,
he went for it hard.
Because I mean, Firewater Burn kind of gave them some sort of credibility in the mainstream scene, like music scene. But prior to that song, when making this record, they had nothing. They had been dropped from Columbia after.
Of course, they're gonna be dropped from Columbia after that.
So it's like he could say whatever the fuck he wants. That's literally what he does on this record. It's insane. It's fucking insane.
And the whole like process of this song is like, why is everybody always picking on me? Because maybe because you're a pussy, right? Because like you're this person, and this is why people hate you. And so then it kind of like transitions into like, well, if you don't want people to pick on you, then you need to find somebody who's easier to pick on than you are. So who does he attack? He attacks a drummer from Def Leppard because he's only got one arm, and he doesn't just say it. He fucking screams it. The drummer only got one arm. So he's because it starts off like the trick is to pick on those who only do you harm. the drummer from Def Leppard's only got one arm, and then it gets higher and higher and more aggressive, and the crescendos into this thing where he's just screaming, "The drummer from Def Leppard's only got one arm." And it's like, dude, that's so dick. Why?
Well,
For what reason?
So the whole thing behind that particular section of the song, or verse, I guess you could say, is that he's been picked, like every line up until that point, he's been picked on incessantly for various reasons. And then this one verse right here, this is him clapping back, I guess, in a way. So the lyrics are talking about how, like, he's talking about Gilligan from Gilligan's Island being teased all the time, and then he's like making that comparison, and he says, "And like a postal clerk, I'll go berserk if you don't stop teasing me. See, the trick is only pick on those that can't do you no harm. Like the drummer from Def Leppard's only got one arm." So he goes with the lowest common, not common, I guess that's not the right word, but yeah, he kind of, it builds and builds and builds, and then he goes postal, as people say, and then he goes after somebody.
That's wild, right? Like, I'm getting picked on, so the only way for me to stop getting picked on is for me to identify with my captors and pick on somebody even less than me. And then Def Leppard.
And what I like about what I think is kind of funny about the Def Leppard thing is that he chooses a band who's very kind of soft, like a band, like not a hard band at all, just a very kind of soft band. And he goes after not only the band, but also the drummer from that band, because it's just like the kind of like pussiest of pussy bands and all that kind of shit. That's not the right way of saying it.
No, okay, so first of all, there's two different things going on here. First of all, Def Leppard sucks. That band fucking is garbage, and I hate that band exponentially. I cannot believe they have sold as many records that they have. They are cookie cutter, like rock of that era, like to a T. That said, their drummer is not a great drummer, but what he does with one arm and the triggers that he can use, and the way his like kit is set up is fucking amazing. Like, he's a better drummer with one arm than most people are with two arms, and that's fucking awesome. But your band still fucking sucks, and I don't care. But the dude, I have more respect for the drummer now that he lost his arm, I guess, than any capacity I have for Def Leppard prior to that, because that band sucks.
Oh yeah, because he had to adapt to the situation after losing his arm, and what he did with only one arm, he kind of, I guess I don't want to say revolutionized.
Well, he built a kit around that. Like, no one had ever done that before.
Which, Travis Barker used in 2006 with.
Yeah, but Travis Barker's an idiot, and he just.
But that's my whole point. Is like, he did this 20 years prior to Travis Barker.
Yeah.
Doing it. That's just my point. Like, it was something that he did first. The guy.
That's cool. I respect that. I fucking hate Def Leppard so much.
I do too.
Hate him. Can't stand him. Can't stand you. But yeah, this is good. And like my favorite Bloodhound lyric is, because you run like a girl and you sit down to pee. It's just like it's just such a childish thing to say to somebody, but it's so disrespectful and it cuts you so deep that you're just like, wow, I have no rebuttal for that, because it is so perfectly childish that I can't say anything afterwards.
Seriously. Yeah. It's fucking funny as fuck. So what's your number 4?
Was that not my number 4 is Kiss Me Where It Smells Funny. So Kiss Me Where It Smells Funny.
The opener. That's my 6B.
Opener.
6B right here.
Yeah. So like, again, we're jumping back into the Metallica thing. This is this song is basically like, hey, we listened to Jump in the Fire a bunch of times. Let's do that same exact song, but our way.
Yeah.
Like that's what that riffage is. That's just Jump in the Fire. Jump in the Fire. It really is.
That little
yeah, it's the same fucking thing.
Fire.
A little reimagined. We're both, I don't know. If we're both,
well, it's reimagined by Bloodhound Gang, but like with way less notes. Just a lot, I guess, just dumber in the end.
Yeah. It's how I would write Jump in the Fire. I'm still like a newer Metallica fan, not decades deep. But the way I imagine Jump in the Fire in my head, if I were to play on the guitar, it would sound like this song.
Okay. And there's like the scratching, the DJ scratching too. It's perfectly and like dumbly placed at the same time.
It's so heavy. It's so heavy in there. But like this song is Bloodhound Gang. These guys are just they're so easy to get into because nothing is complex, nothing is too deep. Everything is like familiar, because they just take, they wear their influence on their sleeves, right? They take from everything they love, and it's just a platform for JP to be JP. And that's what the Bloodhound Gang ultimately is a platform for JP to be JP.
I mean, he really is. He's listed as the sole songwriter for most of their songs, outside of a few on every record. But in the end, like he still has the main songwriting credit, and maybe Lupus will have like one credit, or maybe Evil Jared will. But it's pretty much just Jimmy Pop the entire time.
And we talk about like bands, like if you took like Bonham out of fucking Zeppelin, dude, like Zeppelin would still be cool. Like, okay, maybe they would still exist, but like Bloodhound Gang, yeah. They would not exist.
Without Jimmy Pop, no way.
No.
Like he is this band.
More so than that, right? Like it's just, I don't know. It's not even a conversation to have. I'm not even getting into it. Should we be mad? I don't want to do it. But also the little O's, like little O moans, like
the sampling, dude. The little samples right there.
God, man, those, dude, I giggled every single time, like a fucking 12-year-old girl. I giggled every single time. It was so funny. So mature. That's what it is. Immature. We haven't used that word one time. Immature is what it is. Immature. Yes. Yeah. Immature.
So the song is about, I mean, if you can't guess it, the song is about going down on a girl, his girlfriend. That's what the song is about.
Oral pleasure escapades.
Yes. But the first verse is so fucking stupid. There's so many stupid references that, you know, if you were born after like 2000, you're probably not going to get any of this. But it's like you came twice last year, like a Sears catalog, because your last boyfriend makes love like Boss Hogg. Well, now you're seeing me, but soon I'll have you seeing God, because girl, I get you panting like your Pavlov's dog. Just dude, the references there are so obscure nowadays, but back then it's just like, oh yeah, that's so fucking good. That's fucking funny as shit.
Like I didn't know who Boss Hogg was. I had to look that one up.
From Dukes of Hazzard, right?
Yeah, I never. Yeah. I don't know, just some generic fucking thing.
It was Boss Hogg was the Boss Hogg is the actor who played Boss Hogg is the dad from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
What?
Wait.
Boss.
Oh my god! What are the two detectives?
Jake,
Scully and Scully,
Hitchcock.
Hitchcock and Scully. It's Hitchcock's dad played Boss Hogg on Dukes of Hazzard.
Really?
Yeah, because remember on the Millencolin episode we did years ago, remember on the cover of the Millencolin record was a picture of Boss Hogg. You remember that? It was Millencolin, right? I think it was Millencolin.
Kind of, yeah. We didn't do a Millencolin episode.
We did. Who did we fucking do?
We've never done Millencolin.
I'm pretty sure it was Millencolin. I think we did David on the. This is like when you were still living here in California. This was like 6 years ago. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Hitchcock's dad played Boss Hogg on. Dude, we're getting so into the weeds here. Like, who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck.
Curious. I guess I'll write that.
You'll look at it. You'll look
it up later.
Who cares?
Because like it's either Hitchcock or Scully. I think it's the one, whoever sings the opera. That's Hitchcock.
No. That's Scully. Scully is the bigger guy who sings the opera on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
This is why Brooklyn Nine-Nine is perfect. Is because it makes you question who Hitchcock and Scully actually are as people. Because I always get them confused, and I think that's the purpose of the show, and that's the purpose of those characters is that you always get them confused. That's amazing. But yeah, the operatic guy has been in a fuck ton of movies recently, whereas the other one, which I think is, I guess now Hitchcock, the bald one, has been in movies way long ago, right? Like he's an older actor.
Hitchcock is the bald guy, not the opera, not the guy who sings opera, who has the tattoo of himself with the gun in his mouth. That's Hitchcock. And his
Scully.
Scully's the guy who sings opera, but Hitchcock, his dad in real life, played Boss Hogg in Dukes of Hazzard.
That's cool.
There we go. That's what I'm getting at. But who cares? Who cares? This is so obscure. This is so in the weeds.
People should watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine though.
It's one of the greatest comedies of all time, hands down.
That's a fact.
I think it's almost as funny as The Office. It's almost as funny as The Office. I wouldn't say it's better than The Office, but it's almost there.
If you were to like list them, and like Office would be a solid number one, like it's not going to get dethroned. Like I'm cool with Brooklyn Nine-Nine being number 2. Like it's not better than The Office, no, any way, shape, or form. It's just not. But damn, like being number 2, still good. That's still really fucking good.
It's fantastic.
It's better than number 3.
Well,
better than number 4.
Those are numbers, dude. that's ranking, dude.
Kiss me where it smells funny. That's my 4B.
Rip dudesy. Rip dudesy. Oh,
it's
man.
funny because like I definitely thought that okay, this needed to stop. Like these jokes aren't funny anymore. And now that it's gone,
Dudesy or
and Dudesy.
Okay, yeah, so we're talking about Dudesy, the podcast with Will Sasso and Chad Goldstein. Yeah. It ended this week, the last episode.
It needed to end. It was done, but now that it's gone, like you don't know what you had until it's gone.
I know. I already miss it. Like Macho Mansplain, like that segment, the Macho Mansplains.
Dude, I'll take fucking
ever.
I'll even take Adam Sandler does Applebee's. Like I'll do anything at this point. I don't even care.
I do. It's only been a week. It's literally only been not even been a week. It's not even a week. Yeah, and I'm missing Dudesy. Anyway,
Jonesing.
Let's get back into this. We're so off topic, and we fucking love
Kiss Me Where It Smells Funny.
Just the downstrokes, the very Metallica downstrokes. So dumb,
again, yeah, that's Metallica. Also, oh, there we go. The one that's like tongue tied here is where he says like she's the one that's speechless.
Yes,
I'm the one that's tongue tied. She's thinking holy mackerel. I'm thinking tuna on the side, and I think that's just like, man, that is good. That's good wordplay right there.
Right.
If we're talking about one thing and everything that you are now saying in said verse, said sentence, and using like wordplay to go along with the overall theme of the song, that is absolutely perfect. If you're talking about like oral pleasure, and she's the one that's speechless, I'm the one that's tongue tied, right? Like that's like a what do you call it? A literal thing.
Mm-hmm.
She's thinking holy mackerel, right? Oh wow. And I'm thinking tuna on the side. But like, damn, dude, to even like wordplay and then add fish into it is one thing. But then to like link fish with like the overall aesthetic of a vagina itself is just like on a whole nother level. Like that's good songwriting. That's good, immature, dumb songwriting. Again, if you're going to do it, go all in.
I know.
I liked it. I like those two. I like those two songs. Those two lines. I thought they were fucking brilliant.
They absolutely are brilliant. But and then also, you know, just the chorus too. Drop my face below her waist and stay on third base. I can tell the cherry's ripe by the way it tastes. Yeah, I could make a lot of wine with the yeast I find inside her panties, and then drink it while eating down at the seafood shanty. Like,
dude, I can make a lot of wine with the yeast I find inside her panties. Wow, like that's so aggressive.
It's so disgusting.
It's so
fucking. It's so good.
So good.
But once again, it's offensive. It's over the top. It's just dumb. But I fucking love this song.
It's wild because you think like oh, this guy's just a fucking, you know, he's just a prude and whatever. Like maybe we're just prudes, or this guy doesn't do this shit. But then after watching him like make out with Don Vito, it's like, dude, this guy doesn't give a fuck, man. Jimmy Pop will do anything to anybody. And then after watching that video or that documentary too, it's like this guy will do anything to anybody for a laugh.
Exactly.
Like, right? For that laugh. And it's I don't know if that's sad, disgusting, depressing, or impressive. I don't know. But that's Jimmy Pop to a T.
Dude, and yeah, I mean, you could find the whole Don Vito or Jimmy Pop making out with Don Vito on YouTube. That's on YouTube. And yeah, they were trying to teach Vito and Phil how to be rock stars. So they took them to a Bloodhound Gang show in Pennsylvania. And before the show, Bam told Jimmy Pop to make out with Vito on stage. And, you know, anybody who's seen the show knows Don Vito and how gross he was. And yeah, he literally, what's funny is when you watch the video, Evil Jared grabs Vito from behind,
yeah,
bear hugs him,
and
so he
bear
cannot
hugs
move.
him.
And do you see how much bigger he is than Vito? Because Vito's huge.
Yeah, that was really surprising too. And like Jared's buff. Like I knew that Jared was buff, but when he was like flexing like that, like damn, bro, You big.
He's big.
Like Terry Crews big.
Yes, if not bigger, man.
God
Because
damn.
he has like the big, long fucking arms too.
Yeah. He's got to be like 6'3", 6'4".
Probably, yeah. Probably. But yeah, so he bear hugs Vito, and then Jimmy comes in, grabs Vito's face, essentially sexually assaults him, and just starts making out with him. Like you in the video on Viva La Bam, his tongue's going all over his face, and dude, it's
Vito's like locked his lips closed as best he possibly can. But Jimmy Pop is
it's
and
nuts.
again, like I don't, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about some of the things that I've seen this week about Bloodhound Gang. Whether or not people should be in jail or their charges should be pressed.
Yeah.
Or if it's all in jest. I don't know. Some of the stuff I've seen is just, you can't unsee that shit.
Yeah. Some of it's pretty fucking wild. Pretty wild.
Pretty fucking wild.
Play it. Okay.
As Ranson would say.
Well, I'm fucking down.
Kiss me where it smells funny. That's my 4B.
So I just want to tell this little anecdote story. I brought it up on the podcast before, but the one time I did see Bloodhound Gang was the House of Blues in 2005, and myself and Sean were center front row, on the barricade at this Bloodhound Gang show. A lot of nasty things happened, a lot of barf, a lot of consumption of said barf, a lot of spitting, a lot of nastiness. Dicks, right next to me. Sucking of dicks, baby. Sucking of dicks were next to me. It was wild. But then also when they played this song, "Kiss Me Where It Smells Funny," Sean and I were singing along. We were having a fucking great, because we know the lyrics to the song. And we were singing along with it. Jimmy Pop jumps off the stage, jumps on the barricade, puts the mic in front of my mouth. I go brain dead. I go completely.
There it is, baby boy. There it is.
Fucking brain dead. And I freeze because I'm so nervous. I was singing the words, but I completely freeze up. And to make it more awkward, he just holds the microphone in front of me for it felt like eternity, but it was probably like a good 30 seconds. He holds the mic.
Fucking time.
It was a long time. And even Sean said after the fact, like, it was way too long. It was embarrassing. It was so embarrassing. And I agree, it was, because I completely froze up. It was so
That's
bad.
A showman, dude. That's a showman. Like he's reaching out to involve the crowd. He realizes this person is probably either like stage fright or he's a poser.
100%.
Either way, I'm gonna fuck this kid up.
And he did. Yeah. I got destroyed. Yeah, during that show.
So good. Oh, I would love to get a story like that. That's cool.
Dude, that was still to this, I've never experienced a concert show like that in my entire life. It was unreal.
Yeah,
unreal.
I've heard those stories, and that is fucking wild. Again, that's why Disney rethought having House of Blues at Downtown Disney, and they relocated it to the Garden Walk. Nah, we're done with that. I mean, that having Social D play there all the fucking time, and having those what do you call them?
The residencies.
Yeah, the residencies, but all the people that like Social D, all the douchebag Orange County kids with their fucking stupid motorcycles and their privileges and just fighting and stabbing.
Dude,
oh my God.
I don't even like Social Distortion, but I've seen them 5 times because of how often that they've played at House of Blues. I've gone with you. I've gone with other people because it's tickets are $15. Yeah, we have nothing to do on this Thursday night, Friday night. Let's fucking go. So,
never enjoyed it. I mean, they put on a fine show.
It was fun. It was fun.
But you always know what they're going to end on, so that's always fun too.
Yeah. Anyway, God, getting too.
That was before our real drinking days too.
We didn't drink at that time. No, I was straight edge at the time. Straight edge
as fuck. AF.
Straight edge as fuck. All right, so let's get into your 4B.
That was my 4B. Kiss Me Where It Smells Funny.
Okay, so my 4B is I wish I was queer so I could get chicks.
Really?
Yeah, this song is so funny to me.
4B? That's my 7B. It's a good song. It's a great song.
More of a rock-based kind of punk kind of song. But the lyrics, it's about, he pretends to be a gay guy so he can get chicks and then, I don't want to say lure, I guess kind of lure them.
Dude, this is arguably the most problematic song on the record.
Yeah, it's kind of
even more so than Yellow Fever, because this song
it's kind of
specifically says I am going to pretend to be gay so I can make this girl think that I'm gay, so she'll undress in front of me, and then therefore when I see her naked, I have an in later on when I tell her that I'm not gay. We already like have that intimate experience together, and that's
pretty bad.
That's something, dude. That's something. Funny, but it's something.
So it is really bad. I'm not laughing at. I mean, it is really, really bad. I'm not laughing at that. I don't think it's a joke. But once again, it's the thing. It comes to the fact that this record, and as a whole, is just trying to offend as many people as possible in some of the worst ways. But yeah, so this whole this whole song starts with, "If your ass is a Chinese restaurant, I'll have the poo poo platter."
How does he say it though? Say it how he says it.
He says it with an accent. He says it with a very specific accent.
With a very specific, like demeaning gay accent is what he does there.
If your ass is a Chinese, should I just? No, I'm not gonna say it like he does. I was about to do it too. If your ass is a Chinese restaurant, I'll have the poo poo platter. The way he says poo poo platter too is like,
is poo poo platter a real thing?
Yeah, it's a real thing. Yeah.
Oh, is it like a food
platter?
Poo poo platter.
I'll have the poo poo platter.
It's very like if you from Southern California or listen to whatever that show was, after Brokeback Mountain came out, was it Kevin and Bean on the K-Rock? Jake Gyllenhaal, Heath Ledger. That it was them, right?
Yeah, they did like a parody of Brokeback Mountain.
Months they did it for like almost years. They did it, and it was like Jake Gyllenhaal, Heath Ledger, and like that whole like kind of like lower register vocal thing going outward. But it was so funny because it was so stupid. And they would talk about things like, Heath Ledger, do you like McDonald's? Oh, I love McDonald's. I was like, it's so stupid. It's so fucking stupid, dumb. Yeah. And that's what the intro to this is like. Is a poo poo platter like a real dish? Hold on a second.
I think a poo poo platter is just like a combination of like everything that's on the menu in one like platter,
like an app trio, like a Friday's app trio, but with all the apps.
Poo
poo is also not spelled like poo, like poop. P-U. Okay, so I probably should have Googled that beforehand. Yeah, it's definitely. That's fine. Yeah, it's all okay. So it's not specific. Never mind. That's a whole different culinary escapade we can get into, but that's not what this podcast is about. I wish I was queer so I could get chicks. Yeah. So when he says my favorite line from this one is when he says "homo phony." I thought that was really funny. That's stupid, right? Pseudo homo phony.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like instead of homophobic, it's homo phony. It's just it's stupid.
Good.
I like it.
It's good. So a line that I woke up. When you wake up, for me, I always have like a song lyric or a song stuck in my head. And this morning I woke up and the one line, the one lyric was stuck in my head. I kept singing it over and over again, but it was, "'Cause supermodel means voluptuous, but it is also synonymous with super dumb."
Super dumb.
But the way he sings it, it's like, "'Cause supermodel means," wait, how does he, now I can't even think how he sings it.
It's a super dumb.
Yeah, but it's the super dumb at the end. Yeah, it's the way he sings it. But I had this stuck in my head all fucking morning. But it's a great line too.
Because he's also like the supermodel thing, talking about the what's the girl's name? Staley Lane or Casey?
Chasey Lane.
Chasey Lane, where he was. So show me them titties.
So speaking of that, it's a stupid fucking line, but it's fucking funny. Did you look up Chasey Lane?
Yeah,
I did too. It's like I looked her up and I'm like, this is Chasey Lane? Like really?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's
out of like, I get it, it's the late 90s, but like out of all the girls, like,
but like,
Chasey, like
okay,
Jenna Jameson was at the time. Jenna Jameson was like the top of the girls, but
you gotta remember, like this is before like you just internet was a thing, right?
I get it, yeah.
And I remember being in RDO, Rio del Oro, when I lived over there with Taylor Moe. I didn't live with Taylor Moe; he was across the street from me. But like on whatever that fucking street is that is perpendicular to RDO, there was like bushes in the background. Mm-hmm. In the background, and on the street there was like a massive amount of bushes. And this is all like my my 10, 13-year-old self embellishing a story, I guess. But I remember going with Taylor Moe and the other kids that lived on that street, and we would like hide behind the bushes. And you kind of crawl behind the bushes because you're smaller. And I remember specifically there was a Playboy back there that was like the neighborhood Playboy, and it was Janie McCarthy. Janie McCarthy was the one on like the cover, and that was the issue. And that was always like the thing that kind of stood out to me. Like, damn, this is like my first like Playboy that I'm like looking at with like friends and stuff and getting into, and that's kind of fun. And so I get it. Although Jimmy Pop was way older than we were.
He was already
so
he was like
so
in
like
his 20s at this point.
As a 13-year-old, it makes sense because like whatever your first kind of introduction into that world of like, whoa, dude, I'm not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
He was already in that. This is not their first record. This is not even their first fucking tour by any means. So maybe that's just like his ode to, because also in the same song too, he talks about how like when he met her, he talked about she had like hairy ass arms and she's dumb as fuck. And he's kind of pretty mean to her actually in that thing. Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know where that,
but no, my whole thing was
like, fucking thing.
Well, no, it was, I brought it up. I said, because you brought up that specific song, that Bloodhound Gang song, and they said, I asked if you had actually looked up Chasing Lane.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. And yeah, no, I don't think she was anything like, holy fuck, I can't believe like this is the like, no, they're a dime a dozen, right? That's just the Hollywood actors and musicians, like they're all a dime a dozen. Who cares?
Yeah, I was a little let down when I looked it up this week. I'm like, really? That's it? Like,
but I think like maybe what I.
But it was a different. It was a different time.
That's his Jenny McCarthy, and like for me, it was Jenny McCarthy, and like now it's just funny, like reading about Jenny McCarthy, and it's like, really, like that? Okay, just generic.
Dude, going back to this, and I've heard this on another podcast years ago, but I guess it's like this is like a common occurrence with like especially like our generation and prior. It's like there was always like the porn in the woods, the porn in the bushes.
Yeah, dude,
I
listened to a fucking video game podcast that talks about this.
Dude, and I had the same experience. There was this one area, we called it Twin Creek. Twin Creek was the name of a street near where we lived, and there was this big area of bushes and trees, and that's where the porn was. It was in this like.
And who put it there? I don't know.
Well, we all kind of like we all kind of amassed it in this one. We put it there. We all, me and, or not just me, not me, but other people.
Where the fuck was Twin Creek Peak?
It's a street. So where I grew up in Fairmont Hill, you grew up in Woodgate, or kind of grew up in Woodgate.
It's the same fucking place.
Fairmont Hill was the community
just
next to it.
Further up the hill.
And one of the streets in that community is called Twin Creek. Oh. And on that street, there was like, and that's why we called this area Twin Creek, was because there was this big, huge area of bushes and trees, and that's where we hit it. And yeah, so that was our wood story of the wood.
That's crazy.
But like every young kid has that kind of like story. I feel it's fucking weird.
What else are we gonna do?
Especially this is pre-internet. This is pre DSL, modern internet. This is internet. So this wasn't like a thing. It was like magazines or videos.
Yes,
that's what it was. Or like
VHS tapes. And that area too, like of like the Yorba Linda and Anaheim Hills area, it wasn't like you had like an older brother that could just steal you a bunch of shit or like get you shit. Yeah. It's like it was a smaller town. It wasn't a super small town, but it was a smaller town to where if you did do like a run and stole a bunch of shit, like everybody would probably know it.
Yeah.
So like you kind of had to rely on somebody doing it legally and then giving it to you, which before we were 21, finding somebody who was over 21 was a fucking pain in the ass. Remember, we had to pay David Bradley. We had to pay David Bradley fucking good money to get us beer before we were 21. But it makes sense because after we were 21, when people asked us to do it, we're like, no, fuck you. Go do it yourself. I ain't fucking had to figure it out. Remember how fast we turned on fucking non-21-year-olds?
100%.
Dude, fuck you. Go fuck off. Piss off.
But it was the same idea with that kind of shit.
But that is wild that you bring that up, because in a video game podcast of all the fucking things I listened to, they talked about that for a minute. And there's two guys and there's a girl on the video game podcast, and the girl was like, what the fuck? Like, I had no idea that this even existed. And like the people on the podcast are kind of the same age as we are. And the two guys were like, yeah. And one of them grew up in like the Pennsylvania area, actually. And they literally in the woods, there was like a porn dump, and they went in there. There was like a chest underneath the ground, and you had to like take the dirt off and open the chest, and there's full of porn. And there's just like, yeah, that's not the same. It's not as aggressive as where we were, but yeah, there was the Jenny McCarthy Playboy. I'll never fucking forget it. It was right. It was closer to where the 7-Eleven is, right by the Fairmont School across the street.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, the 7-Eleven right there in the corner. It was closer to the 7-Eleven, that complex, than it was to RDO on, what street is that? Yorba Linda Boulevard? What? Yeah, it's Yorba Linda Boulevard.
Is it Yorba Linda? RDO is that far? Okay. Yeah, I know where you're talking
about.
So
basically, like right across from the church.
I know where you're talking about. Yeah, I know where you're talking about. Yeah. Okay.
So next time you're over there, look in those bushes on the, I guess that would be the fucking south side of that street. Or the north side of the street. I don't know. But yeah, that was yeah.
Oh my God.
Taylor Moe, dude. Oh, friend of the pod, Taylor Moe, dude.
That's so funny. Dude,
so show me them titties.
I'm not even going to go down. I have so many stories with all this shit too. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. So let's get into, Kiss Me. So I wish I could, dude. We're all over the place.
Smells funny. No, we're
wish I was queer.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Do you want to just kind of run through these songs and then kind of move on from there? Because I mean, we could dive deep into everything, but we're just going to really repeat ourselves saying like how great Jimmy Pop was as a lyricist. Yeah.
I mean, there's only one for me. There's only one other. Actually, I have no like true beyond banger now. Starting with It's Tricky. Everything else starting from there is just like, okay, that's good. That's a good song, but that's it.
Which is a cover, but it's a great cover though, right?
Yeah, it's a perfect cover.
Run DMC cover.
We'll just run through them, I guess. Yeah, it's a perfect cover. It's well placed too, because it reminds us that this is still a rock band. These are still like rockers that wanted to be a punk band. They wanted to do like punk rock stuffs, but they also happen to have a guy that wants to be a rapper. Yeah. But also wants to be goofy, and like Run DMC's goofy, and It's Tricky is like the perfect example of all of that stuff, right? Run DMC is like the Bloodhound Gang of the hip hop era of that generation, just not aggressively with their lyrics.
And this is like a straight up metal song. The really distorted guitars, double bass drums, and honestly, Spanky, the drummer in Bloodhound Gang, he's a good drummer. He really is a good drummer.
He's solid.
Yeah, it's just he was just so young. He was younger than the guys. He was like 17 or 18 when he joined the band, and he just looks like a little kid. It's weird. Like he has one of those like he has one of those features where he looks like a little kid.
He has like that friend of the pod, Chris, right? Chris always just kind of looked younger than everybody else. Yeah, so it's same age as everybody, mentality, everything's the same. It's just like, dude, you just look really young, and therefore you can get fucked up.
Yeah, but honestly, he was a great fucking drummer. Great drummer. And he played on this record and on Hooray for Boobies, and then he quit right when they finished recording Hooray for Boobies. But really,
as he should have quit.
Yeah, he should have quit long before then. But he's a great drummer, and he shows his chops a lot on this song. Really on the songs that are drum heavy, but this song especially with the double bass use and just
a lot of double bass.
But his fills are really good too. He's a sick drummer. He really, really was a sick drummer. And honestly, I tried looking up more about him online. There's nothing. After he quit the band, that was it. Like there's literally nothing written about him.
There's not a lot about like any of these guys.
But him like the least. Him the least. Like he dropped off. I heard rumors like, I don't know, it was probably a joke, but somebody said, yeah, he's just delivering pizzas in Pennsylvania. Like he's just a pizza delivery guy now. It's like, damn.
Which is like also like a disrespectful remark, right? Like, oh, he's just doing this. Oh, he's only doing this. Like, ugh.
I know. Yeah, he was a good drummer. He was a very, very good drummer.
He was solid.
Great song, great cover. So
good cover.
Great
cover, actually. No, that's it. That was it.
What other songs?
This is. Do you want to just go through them real quick?
Yeah, we'll just run through them. Let's just run through them and then give our final thoughts.
Asleep at the Wheel. This song, the chorus, my favorite part. I think it's just a story-driven song. He's trying to tell a story, and it's fine. It's cool. There's some like Tarantino-esque inspired electronic noises But really, it's the chorus that kind of like brings me back into like, oh, this is a Bloodhound Gang song. Gotcha.
Like the gang vocals of the "Get Up Your Sleep at the Wheel."
Yeah.
It's fun, but it's still a very electronic based beat throughout the whole song.
Yeah.
But very synth. Also, like in the verses, I love the synth, the kind of, I don't know, not ethereal, but this kind of like.
Those are very like Tarantino, like ring, like Kill Bill, the ring. Dude, that was. I will say, like I mimic a lot of noises with my mouth. That was exactly what Kill Bill sounds like.
No, not at all. That's...
Oh, that's good.
So what are what
shut up. Shut up. That's shut up when I'm talking to you. Shut up. That's your favorite band.
This should have been my 7B though. It's pretty high on my list.
This is my AB.
It's he has this really cool like vocal delivery, like it's very kind of like hillbilly-ish. I just look kind of like how lackadaisical he sings on this, and that chorus is so catchy with the trumpets and everything. I don't give a damn. You don't like me.
You don't like me because I don't like you because you don't like me. It's just it's very man, it's very middle road, right? Like this is his aggressive song. This is like Jimmy Pop being the most aggro vocally as he is on the entire record. And it's talking about things that he hates or like irritates him, but it's just like it's not that aggressive. Like you could be more wild with it. And if you're not going to be more wild with it, then the music could supplement that. And so I think that's why it's so late here. But also one of my other favorite lyrics are on, this, on the song.
Yeah, isn't this your favorite? Some of your favorite lyrics on this one,
dude. It's just he's such a fucking dick, man. He's such a fucking. But
he's such a wordsmith. He's such a wordsmith, and this whole song is filled with it.
He says I hate Bon Jovi, but I hate his music more.
I hate killing people, but I hate keeping score. Wait, what? Then what does he say?
I hate Bon Jovi, but I hate music more. Yeah. The other one is when he says, "I'm more tongue in cheek than a lesbo orgy." I was like, "Damn, that's good, actually." Hold on, really dude. Hold on, that's pretty fucking good right there. I like that. I like where your head's at. All right, so moving on. Your only friends,
but also, I'll make you dizzy like Gillespie as I toot my own horn. That's good. So good. But the way he delivers it is way better than I just did.
No, but then
good. so it's I'll make you dizzy like Gillespie as I toot my own horn, like a number 2 pencil. I always got a point. It's fucking great wordplay. Great fucking wordplay. Oh, I love it. It's great.
It's good.
That's
good.
Love Jimmy Pop.
Your only friends are make believe, which is this one of your bigger. Oh, okay. This is my 10B, and then I stopped doing Bs after this because I thought like, I'm done making these.
Yeah, this is my 11B.
Yeah, these are lower tiered Bs for sure. This is slower jam, which kind of gets saved by the heavy parts. And then why is everybody always picking on me? Kind of set that standard. Like it's okay. This is going to be an album that has loungy kind of jams on there, so that's cool. Yeah. And so, given that this exists, right? If you took out the earlier loungier songs, this would be terrible. But because we have those earlier loungier songs, this is kind of cool. But the biggest complaint, dude, this song's fucking long.
It is long.
Like, why is this song so goddamn long? It's like 6-7 minutes long. No. It should be like 2-3 tops. But it's cool. It's a cool song. It's about essentially being a loser at home, watching dumbass kids shows and being a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Which is like exactly what I do now.
That's called being an adult, being a dad.
It's being a fucking boring person.
And then what was the last song? Boom? But why are you making fun of me?
Boom. Yeah, Boom. We got Vanilla Ice here. Boom, I think arguably has like Jimmy Pop's best lyrics on the album. Boom is wild. Best lyrics. Yeah, because
the lyrics are fantastic.
So Boom is a back and forth, right? It's Vanilla Ice versus Jimmy Pop, and we all know how this is going to go. Like Vanilla Ice does a great job.
He's not a bad. I mean, in the end, he's not a bad rapper. Like everybody gives him shit for the
He's no different. He's no different than fucking like Run DMC. He's no different than like 80s era hip hop. No, absolutely.
He's not a bad rapper. And it's like whenever you watch like interviews with him, he's always very humble and he always defends himself like to the end. And all the points he makes are pretty fucking legitimate and valid. Like he's not
a bad rapper.
He's not bad at all. And when you look at like he was very well respected prior to that song even coming out. Just it's irritating. Like the guy is actually way more talented than people give him credit for.
He's more talented than people give him credit for, yes, but he's not great. And this is a song that shows just that, because Jimmy Pop lets him have his thing, and the first verse is like, oh, that's a pretty good fucking first verse, actually. Like he spreads his butter like fucking whatever the fuck he said. I don't know. And there's a lot of cool things that he says. But then we get the Jimmy Pop's verse, and it's like, wow, you just mopped the floor with this dude. You really just like embarrassed this guy. You took everything that he said and said it better than he said it. Everything that Jimmy Pop said, you could dissect. Every fucking line, every lyric that he did is wild. It is abrasive. It is disrespectful. My favorite fucking line in this one is when he says, you're sweating like a watermelon at a Baptist barbecue. And like, wow, you fucking dick. That's something right there.
So many
got
things.
More lines in a welfare office. Good Lord.
That's how he starts his verse off. He says, give me the mic, Rob, so I could take it away. Got more lines in the welfare office. Dude, are you upset you'll never get to be as clever as this? Spreading quicker than your mom, have a feel, but don't cop it. Dude, it's heat, man. This is the one song on the record that you could possibly throw up against like gangster rap. Like the way, like how aggressive they're kind of rapping at each other, and just the overall beat is almost like gangster rap. Especially the way that Vanilla Ice is rapping. He's trying to be like tough and like forward and everything like that. And it works. Typical. It works for both of them. But yeah, you're right. Jimmy Pop just mops the floor with him.
It's not even fucking close. Like it's not even close. And this is why people love Eminem so much, is because Eminem can dish it out, but also like simultaneously like take it and be self-deprecating. Mm-hmm. But like Jimmy Pop is like Eminem to the fucking 10th degree.
Yeah.
Like he's not as good of a linguist as Eminem is. But he's close. He's close, dude. He's fucking close.
Dude, once again, Jimmy Pop is so underrated. So fucking underrated. And dude, he's incredible. He really is incredible when it comes to hip hop and lyrics and flow and everything.
Dude, I don't give a fuck. Sneaking up like celery. Yeah, I'm stalking. I squeak like Stephen Hawking. Yeah, but I'm walking. Fuck. That's so disrespectful on like 3 different planes.
It is. It's great.
It's just because of Jimmy Pop's, just how aggressive he is. He's not marketable. This music is not marketable.
It's not. But then you know people would say that the same thing about Eminem. I mean, he's not as abrasive as Jimmy Pop. Eminem isn't, but it's still pretty fucking abrasive music.
Which is wild because Eminem made fun of. I mean, Eminem was a dick.
But also Eminem had the backing of Dr. Dre. Had Dr. Dre not been a part of it, that's true. Had Dr. Dre not been a part of it, Eminem would not have gone anywhere. That is true. Or not to the height, not anywhere, but not to the height that he was at the time and still is. But it's down to Dre, which we'll get into in hip hop season. We're definitely gonna talk about that. But also the last line in Jimmy Pop's verse is, "'Cause you're yellower than Tinkle and you'll be running like diarrhea."
Oh man, and that's
so
why.
Stupid.
And that the toilet humor also is a big knock against Jimmy Pop. It's just that's not marketable either. But
it's so fucking funny.
You're yellower than Tinkle, and you'll be running like diarrhea. That's good.
It's great,
dude. And like the whole like you're like Jim Jones cut. I'll take you out with one punch, right? Like that's just like you have to know that reference to understand the punch, not like a physical punch, but like the drinking the Kool-Aid thing, but also like one punch, and because they all got taken out at the same time because they drank the Kool-Aid at the same time. Like there's layers to this, you know. But also there's layers to this song.
When it comes to references, like Eminem, he spent his whole career, especially like kind of pop songs, like the singles, all they are references to the time.
Yeah.
The real Slim Shady. Every single line in that song is about what was going on in music or, Hollywood at the time. Like
And that
it's
was a very
not it's
specific period. That wasn't like a decade prior. That was a very
exactly
like 2-3
of
years
that
prior.
time. So like what Eminem was doing isn't much different than what Jimmy Pop does. It's just Jimmy Pop is talking about poop and pee rather
Yeah.
than he's talking about the same thing as Eminem, but he's just throwing in poop and pee at the same time. That's all. That's literally all
The
he's
poop
doing.
and the pee is definitely the stuff that's not marketable because that's just such a like a lowest common denominator comedy
But otherwise,
form.
he's doing the same shit as Eminem. He really, really is. I don't know. Anyway, I guess we'll get into that
That's the
later.
wrap up, dude.
Later. Yeah. So yeah,
We're pretty
wrap
much
up.
done with this fucking. There's no the last three songs here, right? Going Nowhere, and then Reflections, which is rambling, and the hidden track we've talked about.
Going Nowhere
Yeah.
Slow. Going Nowhere Slow is fun because he just names a bunch of cities throughout the United States, and then he ends it at the very end with like, what does he say? Nowhere in New Jersey. That's the only place we don't go, or something like that.
Yeah.
All the places that they would go to on tour, but not New Jersey.
I'll say this too, though. Like in the very, very beginning, the first 3 seconds of this song, it's like identical to "Smooth Criminal" by Alien Ant Farm. And then that's it. Like those, like just listen to them back to back when you're doing this thing, or I'll write in the notes. Yeah, like eerily similar.
Okay. No, I'll listen to it. But I do know that, like, I mean, once again, Spanky's drumming, great on this song too. Great fucking beats. Great beats, great transitions. Great. He just drives the song so well with that bass line too, and then Jimmy's just singing over it all. Like, I think musically, this is one of the best songs on the whole record. It's fantastic. So, anyway, final thoughts on this record, and then rate the record based off of our world famous 3-point rating system, where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album, give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. So what do you got, Jeff? Go.
Hold your hand up high and blow your brains out.
Whee.
So off the bat here, the second half of this album is not as strong as the first half. It is just not. There are great parts to the second half. There are some amazing parts, and we just talked about like drumming, and we talked about Jimmy Pop's lyrics in the battle versus Vanilla Ice. So because of those things, this is not getting a 3. Let me just throw that out there already, okay? Not getting a 3. Read my lips. I'm not gonna do it.
Not gonna raise taxes.
Dude, every time I do that thing, it just gets worse and worse. Like,
yeah, your impression of George Senior is just not, or Bush Senior.
George Senior. You can say George Senior.
Yeah, or George Bush Senior. Let's just say that.
Yeah, George Bush Senior. GBS.
Yeah.
GBS.
Yeah, your impression is not. It's your impression. It's your impression of Dana Carvey.
Yes, exactly. I was just thinking. I was trying to do.
So it's an impression of an impression.
Dude, I was trying to string together too many acronyms, and it was just not going to. My mind shut down for a second. Did you see it? I was like,
yeah. Your impression of GBS DC is not going to work.
There you go. Exactly.
Anyway, continue
the joke. This is at a time when hip hop is just fucking ripe for the taking, right? We're signing hip hop artists. And the mid 90s and gangster rap is massive, and it's marketable, and it's something that is overshadowing like rock music in some capacities. And so when you have a rap rock group like the Bloodhound Gang coming out, like, why the fuck would you sign this? Because this is stupid. Like, who was this for? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, when you sign a band, when you do something, it's like, who is going to listen to this? Who is the audience? Who is your target audience? Who the fuck is a target audience for this? People that are too fucking immature.
Yeah.
People that are too immature, but they're not going to buy anything. They don't have any money.
I think you're right. You're right.
It's wild. Like, who was the fucking target audience for this shit? No, it's silly boy talk. And the people that listen to like alt music or grunge in like the early 90s are too old for this stuff. And the people that are getting into hip hop do not want this. So I think this is a fucking massive gamble on, who would they sign to? Was it still Columbia at this time? At this
Geffen,
point,
right? It was Geffen.
This was Geffen.
Yeah, one for Spirit Coaster was Geffen.
See, I'm telling you, man, like David Geffen, and in the early days of Geffen, David Geffen was a shit. David Geffen was a dope dude, a DD, a double D as I call him, a DD. Has nothing to do with any of this fucking record, but it's rambling at this point.
You are rambling.
Ramble on. Like Zeppelin out here just rambling
so
on.
What would you rate this record? What would you rate this record?
This is 2.5. This is a solid 2.5. This is something I would buy in the vinyls, but I really, really do think that the last half of this record is weaker than the first. Okay. And you have to really like this band to pick apart the things in the last half that make you want to keep listening.
All right. 2.5.
That makes sense.
No, 2. I get it. I get what you're saying. I do agree with you that, on two things. One, that, the second half is, it's not as good as the first half, but when you really break it down, if you do really like this band, yes, like you're going to understand the genius that is Jimmy Pop and the second half of this record, because it really is equally as good, but it's not as in your face as the first half of the record. Because the first half of the record, it's very on the nose. There's no subtlety at all. But the second half really captures that. But after It's Tricky, it really there's a lot of good moments there. Now, when it comes to music in general in the 90s and 1996 when this came out, I mean, obviously coming off of grunge, alt rock, indie rock's popular, new metal is blowing up. The biggest rap rock band of this time was Rage Against the Machine. I mean, this band is not going to have the same, people aren't going to respect this band the same way they are
Limp Bizkit.
But no, Limp Bizkit wasn't even, $3 Bill wasn't even out at this point. This is pre $3 Bill, 96.
What's $3 Bill? 97?
97. So this predates Limp Bizkit. So it's like people people at this time wouldn't respect this band at all.
Who's this for?
It's just for them. That's the beauty of Bloodhound Gang. Like it's strictly.
But record labels don't sign fucking deals for you.
They sign it.
Part of that thing is like, who is this for? They don't just sign it for you.
This record is for. I mean, really, this record is for men. It's for guys. That's what this is for. Because men generally love toilet humor. They like being immature because we are generally immature people when it comes to comedy. That's just the way it is. We think stupid shit is funny. And that's what this plays to. Plays to that demographic. And that's what these record labels, that's what Geffen saw. They saw the genius in Jimmy Pop. They saw that not only is he a genius as a lyricist and as a songwriter in some cases, but also that this can play to a lot of men. And that's why Geffen picked him up. That's why Columbia picked them up prior to this. They saw that they could play to a certain demographic. For better or worse, that's what they saw. That's what I feel. I think they're wildly underrated. I think Jimmy Pop's wildly underrated. I think people should take a deeper dive into them. Yes, toilet humor aside, it's goofy, it's stupid, it's fun.
That's tough though. Like we talk about like hip hoppers who can like paint pictures. I mean, like Illmatic is arguably one of the greatest hip hop records of all time because of the story that it presents.
Nas is amazing, but
and that's great.
You're talking about like 15 guys, in hip hop. You're talking about 15 guys in hip hop.
That's Nas' story, but hold on there, dude. So like I'm trying to give credit to Jimmy Pop. Like it's just as difficult to write something like Nas' Illmatic, which is a fucking masterpiece at storytelling, but it's also just as difficult to write something that's toilet humor and that is the lowest common denominator that doesn't come off as overly cheesy. And I don't think this record comes off as overly cheesy. I think this record comes off as fucking brilliant. Because it's super easy to write fart jokes. It's fucking, you just gotta see the word fart, people will laugh and giggle and smirk and shit.
You hear somebody fart, you're gonna laugh at it.
But to make like a record out of it and to like string like concepts together, that's difficult to do. But we write it off because it's just toilet humor. Fuck that record. Like, no, man, there's no difference. Like he's still crafting something the way Nas crafted something. Not in the same capacity, but still crafting something. I agree. Something Jimmy Pop is fucking insanely overrated.
Underrated.
What'd I say?
You said overrated, but you meant to say
he's overrated too. And he's underrated. He's all rated.
He's all rated. So
doesn't even make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make any sense at all. So I give this, I don't do it often. I don't do this often, but I rate this record a perfect 3 out of 3. I really, truly think it's a perfect record.
Okay.
Hands down, perfect record.
Hefty Fine. It is. That was your 2, right?
Yeah.
What's Hefty Fine?
Hefty Fine, I give it a 2.9.
And what was your 3?
3 was Hard Off. I give that a 2.75.
Okay.
I think that one's really underrated too. And then Hooray for Boobies, I give it a 2.5. Use Your Fingers, I give a 2. Solid 2 out of 3.
Okay.
But yeah, no, this record is 100% a perfect 3 out of 3. They mixed the hip hop, the metal, the punk, and they just did what Beastie Boys. They just made like a nastier version of Beastie Boys. That's what this record is, a nastier version of Beastie Boys. But honestly, better flow. Jimmy Pop has better flow than the guys.
Lyrically, this is better than Beastie Boys. 100%. This is better than License to Ill.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. But also his flow too. Like the guys from Beastie Boys are great, but Jimmy Pop's flow is better. It really, really is better.
You forget too, like you don't specifically, I say you in like a general sense, but you forget like the Beastie Boys. There's not just one of them, right? There's the Beastie Boys. There are multiple boys in the Beastie Boys, and Bloodhound Gang is pretty much Jimmy Pop riffing off himself. Mm-hmm. And so to carry a song, to carry an album, to carry a band by yourself and keep it interesting throughout, that's tough, man. That is tough. Yeah. The Beastie Boys have other people to lay on and rely on and riff off of.
Producers, each other, everything.
JP doesn't. And thank God Beastie Boys had Rick Rubin to get
catapult
in there.
Him. Yeah.
And also, catapult him to stardom. Without Rick Rubin, the Beastie Boys would be nothing. Oh yeah. Him
and License to Ill. Come on.
Yeah, Rick Rubin, he definitely does not like see talent and then attach himself to said project and then pretend that he was the reason for that. You're right. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
All right. So anyway, thank you all for listening. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, tell your friends, smash that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Get into hip hop season next.
With your bad breath on your rings.
We're doing it by decades, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and we might do 2010s. We haven't decided yet. So we'll see. Anyway, that's it. That's all.